Еду на выставку фарфора в Stanmore. Clay. Sydney, отца Сидней.
Back or just back? No, just back. I was hoping it was fun as well. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Just sad.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you guys.
See you, man.
See you, Felix.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I watched most of my sport come out.
And I look at my son and what his friends do. Because it just feels.
You coming?
I'm coming into the lift. I'm
Coming.
going to go downstairs.
Pony. It was a pony today. Oh,
I know that.
I miss that.
Somebody's giving me some food
Where?
in your cup there.
Oh yeah.
Got a bit of food in there.
No, I keep for
Bad
possums.
for cockroaches. The cockroaches will follow you.
Yeah.
They'll run behind you. Cockroaches run behind you.
It's why I'll feed them. I'm good man. I feed cockroaches. I love them. Cockies. See you guys. Hope see you tomorrow. If I'm still alive. You're not here, alright? Right? Yep. Ooh. Yeah. That was good. Good. Thank you. 70.
Right, bro.
Thank you, man.
See you, Felix.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
By vent.
Cadbury slices inspired by iconic Australian slices. That's iconic in a new way.
Sore throat? Cough? Hit it with the herbal. Soother's Herbal Throat Drops.
Seven.
Тихо, как вою, звезды над местечком высоки. Я себе пою, я себе краю. опустилась ночь. Отдохните, дети, день был очень жарким, за стежком стежок. Грош стал тяжел. Было время, были силы, да уже не то. Годы
Ужасы скосили, вытерли мое пальто. Жил один еврей, как он сказал, что все проходит. Ой-ой.
солнце тоже садится
На закате дня
еще родится, жаль, что не примешь меня. Кто же будет
одевать вас всех по морю? Оли, оли.
Девочка моя, завтра утром ты опять ко мне вернешься, милая моя.
Эй, гола моя,
Грустноглазая
моя,
папа мой слушно скажет, засмеешься,
люди разные,
и
песни разные.
Будет день, и будет пища, жить не торопясь. Иногда богаче нищий тот, кто не успел скопить, тот, кого нигде никто ничем не держит. Нефтебар, иголка, вот и все дела. Да, еще талмуд на полке, так бы жизнь и шла, и шла. Только солнце вижу я все реже, реже. Что все проходит.
You're in for the ride of your life. Meet our most powerful vacuum cleaner. That's
Легіон «Свобода Росії» підтвердив інформацію про ліквідацію російського полковника. Між тим, партизани продовжують працювати на Білгородщині. Що там нині відбувається, ви дізнаєтесь за мить. Мене звати Юрій Білік, ви на фабриці новин. Отже, Легіон «Свобода Росії» опублікував відео, яке, за їхніми словами, підтверджує ліквідацію у Білгородській області російського полковника Андрія Стесєва. І ось як бійці його підписали. Таких преступников, как он, по локоть заморавших руки в крови мирных жителей, всегда настигает справедливая расплата. Каждый военный преступник понесет достойное наказание перед судом. Если доживут, конечно же, в той мясорубке войны, которую сами же и начали. Кінець цитати. Давайте нагадаємо, друзі, що напередодні про ліквідацію окупанта заявили в російському добровольчому корпусі і Легіоні «Свобода Росії». Далі цитата. Він загинув у стрілецькому бою як офіцер зі зброєю в руках. Але потрібно визнати, що ці руки поліпить Україну. Він і його підлеглі за його наказом систематично тероризували населення Білгородської області, порушували їхні права і свободи. Раніше Стесєв убивав мирних жителів у Чечні, Югославії, Абхазії та на території України. Тим часом російські партизани продовжують працювати на Білгородщині. Цього разу бійці показали славнозвісні зуби дракона, оборонні споруди, які, по ідеї, мали захищати цю область. Але, схоже, захищені тепер лише кишені чиновників від дефолту. А військові, між тим, зайняли вигідні позиції і продовжують боротьбу. Працюють партизани із мінометів у Шебекинском районе, кажут наступно. Группа отработала по артиллерийским дежурам, которые продолжают бить по мирным домам. В отличие от них, мы не используем тактику выжженной земли, а работаем аккуратно. Тим часом у губернатора Білгородщини ані пам'яті, ані партизанів в регіоні взагалі нічого і нікого немає. Каже таке, немного спрашивают про новую Таволжанку. На территории новой Таволжанки противника нет, много информации. Каждый пытается решить свои личные проблемы, комментируя нашу ситуацию, прикладываясь к ней, пытаясь увеличить уровень своей аудитории. У нас задача простая – это безопасность и спокойствие людей. При цьому напередодні той такий Гладков заявив, що можливості зайти у нову Таволжанку у російських чиновників немає. А от чому не пояснив? Між тим російський добровольчий корпус менше години з моменту заяви опублікував відео, де двоє людей у камуфляжі і, звичайно, з прапором РДК стоять на Польській вулиці, ймовірно, Білгородській області. Давайте подивимося.
Ну что, друзья, как нам всем стало очевидно, московские власти перебросили ответственность на власти региональные, а региональные власти Поэтому мы берем власть в свои руки.
Одним словом, партизани продовжують рух, а Кремль і місцеві чиновники роблять вигляд, що Білгородській області просто не існує. Бо захистити свої підкреслені землі не може. Усі окупанти скинути на допомогу. Ось така метафора. Друзі, ви напевно не вирішили? Ось і листа. Лайк, коментар, нас цікаві актуальні новини. Побачимося.
This is Bill, small business owner. He's freaking out because he has to process payroll for a bunch of new chefs.
Oh, relax. We use Reckon, remember?
Reck. Luckily, Reckon Payroll is made for every small business. Reckon, all for small.
Сейчас я вам расскажу все подробности одного из главных событий прошлой недели, а вы пока подпишитесь на наш канал, нажмите колокольчик, поставьте лайки и, главное, комментируйте и задавайте вопросы. На некоторые из них я дам подробные ответы в отдельном видео. Эту программу я начну с того, что озвучу вам две цифры. 563 и 533. Это важные цифры. Так вот, 563 – это количество ракет и дронов «Камикадзе», которые Россия выпустила по территории Украины только за март. А 533 ракеты и дрона украинской армии удалось сбить, то есть более 94%. На все это Россия истратила 1 миллиард 700 миллионов долларов. Напомню, это только в мае. Тем не менее, около 5% российских ракет и иранских железяк все же упали на голову украинцев. Тревога за тревогой. Последний месяц весны был практически без сна. Жители украинской столицы, да и других городов. Погибли мирные жители, взрослые дети. Россия побила мировой рекорд по количеству уничтоженных ракетами больниц на период полномасштабного вторжения. А сейчас я бы хотел показать вам короткое видео. Смотрите сами. Смотри, брат. Ты видишь? Вот дома. Это атака дронов по территории России. Они, между прочим, не впервые долетели до Москвы, практически достигли резиденции Путина Новоогарева, где он с большой вероятностью как раз пребывал.
Сегодня
Russia is a terrorist state.
In front of their parents and forcing the parents to watch, killing children, beheading prisoners of war. This is the true face of terrorism today that has to be defeated. Because if we don't defeat it now, it's gonna spread and it's gonna come here, guaranteed. This is why it's important for every single one of you. Now that Russia is not only killing Ukrainians, but killing our planet, that is threatening Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant by exploding one of the largest hydroelectric power plants in Ukraine. They just blew it up. They blew it up and they blew up a dam that has the size, the water capacity similar to what Warragamba Dam holds. Imagine this amount of water going down, breaking through the dam and flooding cities, killing humans, killing animals. But more importantly, the water from this dam was used to cool down Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Without it cooling down, it might explode any minute. So Russia is committing nuclear terrorism right now as we speak, as we're standing by, as we don't see on our news headlines. I'm calling on every single one of you to reach out to your politicians. Send an email to Albanese, to Penny Wong, send it to Richard Marles. The only way to defeat terrorism is to fight back, is not to appease them. Ukraine tried 11 ceasefire agreements with Russia. Every single one of them has been violated. No agreements can be signed with terrorism. Agreements with terrorists simply don't work. The only way to fight a bully is to stand up and fight together. So we're calling on all of you to reach out to your politicians and ask them, number one, declare Russia as a terrorist state. 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 Declaring Russia as a terrorist state is not just using the right words for this so-called country. It has economic consequences. Declaring them as a terrorist state makes it impossible for businesses to work with Russia and to fund their missiles, to fund their explosives, to fund their killings. So it's critical to declare them as a terrorist state so that their economy can no longer support this barbaric war. But also what is important for you to realize is that when you are thinking about helping Ukraine, to a normal person not affected by war, the first thing that comes to mind is donating to help some people that lost their home, so that they have a blanket, so that they have food. But those blankets will not be required if there is no war. Russia can pull out their troops any minute, but they don't want to. They're talking to you about signing some kind of a peace agreement. Ukraine signed 11 ceasefire agreements. Every single one of them has been violated by Russia. Ukraine gave up all its nuclear weapons in 1994 in exchange for guarantees from Russia, including of their borders that Russia has violated. No agreement is simply gonna work. We know that all of us standing here, we want this war to stop as soon as possible. But we understand that if we sign a peace agreement, it's not gonna be worth anything. It's gonna be a similar agreement to what Russia signed with Chechnya after the first Chechen war. They signed an agreement because they were losing, like they're losing right now in Ukraine. And what followed later? They started the second Chechen war after learning from their mistakes, regrouping and attacking again. They murdered 25% of the Chechen population, including 73,000 children. This is not what Ukraine wants. And Ukraine also does not want more territory being occupied, more power plants being blown up.
This is not what has to happen. Terrorism must be punished. You stand up to bullies and you fight, and this is why the second thing you can do is to reach out to your politicians and ask to help Ukraine win. 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 Help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win.
Because if those terrorists have their way, then this whole world will be run by terrorism. This whole world will be run by threats of nuclear war. This whole world will be run by bullies. And this is not the world where we want to live in. Because in this world, if Ukraine were to lose, every small country will have no right to exist. Right now, Ukraine is defending every single one of you. Ukraine is defending Australia, is defending international law. International law allows smaller countries to exist and not be invaded by larger countries. This is what international law stands for. Right now, this law has been challenged. And if we let Russia continue, if we let Russia win, if we let Russia keep the territories that they occupy, then we are giving the green light to any larger country to invade a smaller neighbor. Which country are we in this scenario? Are we a small country surrounded by large neighbors, or the other way around? Do we have a larger neighbor somewhere nearby that has much bigger army, that maybe has nuclear weapons? Think about that. I hear a lot of people telling to me, this is not my war. This is so far away, I simply don't care. I care about food on the table and about other things. But think about someone attacking Australia. What will you do? Would you reach out for help? Imagine China attacking Australia. They have much larger army. They have many more weapons. They have nuclear weapons. Would you be standing here and telling everyone that's not your war? Or will you be screaming for help? Will you be calling everyone, including Ukraine, that now has the largest army in Europe, the most powerful army in Europe, for help? So it is time for you to lend a hand and to help Ukraine. And the recipe to fight a bully is very simple. It's not sitting down with a crocodile that is biting your leg trying to reach some kind of an agreement when you already signed 11 agreements with them and all of them were violated. The recipe against a ruthless terrorist like Putin's regime currently is very simple. More weapons for Ukraine, more sanctions for Russia. 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 More weapons for Ukraine, more sanctions for Russia.
More sanctions for Russia.
I realize that it is extremely uncomfortable to talk about weapons for people who did not experience war. You don't want to associate yourself with weapons. We also don't. But our country has been attacked. We have relatives, most of us have relatives who have been teachers and lawyers and doctors who are today fighting the Russian aggression on the front line, who didn't have any other choice because Russians came to kill them, came to kill their children, came to kill their women. Ukraine, since independence in 1991, started 0 wars. Right now, Ukraine is simply defending themselves, and they're not planning to attack Russia. All the Ukrainians want is to have their land back. All Ukrainians want is for those ecological catastrophes from those terrorists and barbarians that simply don't care. They will blow up a nuclear power plant without blinking because this is not their land. They don't care what happens there. We want them gone. This is all that Ukrainians want. And this is why we're talking about weapons to you today. Because against a terrorist, the only thing that works is standing up and fighting back. This is what Ukrainians have been doing for the past 15 months, and we are bloody good at it. All we need is give us the tools and we will finish the job. This is what we are appealing to you to talk to your government about. Appeasement simply doesn't work. If you don't know what appeasement means, just Google it. Just put it in Google and you'll find a Wikipedia article talking to you about World War II, where Chamberlain walked out of the plane and after striking a deal to give Czechoslovakia to Adolf Hitler and to Nazi Germany, because this is what they wanted, he said, I brought you peace. Now everything will be fine. I gave him what he wanted. Things like that only fuel their appetites. If we bow to pressure, if we bow to nuclear threats that Russia was making for the past few months, and now continuing to make it with threatening to blow up Zaporizhia power plant now, if we bow to this pressure, then the next thing you know is Russia holding a referendum somewhere in the consulate in Bulara and saying, now Australia is Russia. And if you dislike it, we will nuke you. We will use nuclear weapons. I guarantee you that this is exactly what's going to happen. If now we say, okay, you use the threat of nuclear against us, take what you want. This is precisely what's going to happen. By right now standing up to this threat, you are actually reducing the probability of any nuclear war. By bowing to this threat, by accepting their demands, this always with terrorists, it plays out the same way. If you agree to their demands only escalate. They want more and more and more. And then more terrorists will emerge with equal demands. So we will never have peace if we follow down that path. This is why the only recipe that will stop the terrorist state of Russia is you reaching out to your MPs, asking your government to help Ukraine win. 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 Help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win.
Fellow Australians, we've been coming here for 15 months. Ukrainians, Australians, members of the Russian community against the war, Lithuanians, Polish, Iranian, all together. We've been standing and calling the world to recognize Russia as a terrorist state that is committing acts of terrorism every single day against unarmed civilians in the largest country in Europe, in Ukraine. Yesterday, Russia committed the biggest man-made ecological catastrophe in the last decade in the middle of Europe. They blew up one of the largest hydroelectric plants in Ukraine, flooding 80 towns, putting hundreds of thousands of innocent people's lives at risk. Within the next now 12 hours, all the animals within 10-kilometer radius will be dead. By them flooding this reservoir, releasing this reservoir and flooding an entire area in the south of Ukraine. It was 11 million cubic tons of water that went on to completely destroy the ecosystem of the southern Ukraine, the biodiversity, all the animals, all the nature is beyond repair. It will never be the same again. This is the first largest act of eco-terrorism by Russia. Russia must be stopped because Russia is killing the planet. 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 Russia is killing the planet.
Russia is killing the planet.
Yesterday, Russia blew up the Kakhovka hydroelectric plant in the south of Ukraine. And a hydroelectric plant that they occupied for the last 7 months. Ukrainian intelligence made a statement to international authorities stating that Russia mined this hydroelectric plant and dam 7 months ago. They lined it with explosives, and yesterday they detonated it. The damage so far only has been estimated to be 3 to 5 kilotons of a nuclear bomb going off without the nuclear waste. Europe, the ecosystem of Europe will never be the same. The entire ecosystem of the Black Sea, the Azov Sea, of the Dnipro River of the south of Ukraine is forever damaged. If this water level continues to drop, which it's doing rapidly right now, the largest nuclear power plant in Europe will not have the water it needs to cool its reactors. And we could have a nuclear disaster that will make Chernobyl look like child's play. This is what's on the cards right now. This could have been prevented. We've been calling out for the support of the international community from Australia and abroad to help Ukraine stop this war. For 15 months we've been asking, help Ukraine to stop it before it spreads. Now you can see how it affects every single one of you. Now Russia is not only killing women and children, but it is also killing the planet quite literally. The very first that we know to be hit yesterday were 300 animals in the local zoo which all drowned because Russia was not allowing the caretakers for the last 7 months of occupation to go near those animals. Right now, as we speak, hundreds of thousands of women, children, civilians, and animals are endangered. The clean water to over 3 million people, the supply of water to over 3 million people in the middle of Europe has been disrupted. This is the biggest eco-catastrophe in decades that has been man-made by Russia and completely preventable had we acted together before this to stop them. That's why we have to raise awareness and completely understand that Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped.
Russia must be stopped. Russia is killing our planet. Russia must be stopped.
By committing this act of environmental terrorism, this should be the #1 thing that everyone in the world today is concerned about, because something on such a large scale changes our climate. It changes the ecosystem of an entire region of our planet. And they have literally come out on camera and said, we will do more of this. This is the biggest evil in the world today. It is not only killing Ukrainians, it is not only attacking democracy, it is not only attacking freedom and human rights and the international rule of law. It is now attacking the very planet which gave us birth, which we all live on. We only have one, and Russia is knowingly destroying it. As we slept yesterday, they committed the biggest act of environmental terrorism in decades. They must be stopped. They must be stopped with international help. This war must end. And they could end it right now. They could end it and withdraw all their troops right now and the war would stop that very minute. But they do not want to. They want to keep going. And if they're not stopped in Ukraine, there will be the Third World War and probably the final one for this planet. This is what's at stake. Russia must be stopped. Ukraine is doing everything it can to end this war. All we ask is that in Australia, those that care about the planet that we live on, we help Ukraine end the war, help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine end the war, help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine end the war, help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine end the war, help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine end the war. Help Ukraine win. Ukraine end the war. Help Ukraine win.
Fellow Australians, The reason why we're here is because yesterday Russia blew up one of the largest hydroelectric power plants in Ukraine. Next to this power plant, we had a massive water catchment that is similar in size to Waragamba Dam. But it was not stale rainwater. It was a huge river Dnipro, that was containing its water within. By blowing up the dam, Russia has flooded hundreds of thousands of homes. Many animals, many humans have died as a result of this already. The ecosystem is completely beyond repair right now. But what is even worse is that this very water was used for cooling down the reactors of nearby Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. If these reactors are not cooled down, there is an inevitable explosion that is going to happen. If water levels there drop beyond 12 meters, there will be no cooling down of the reactors. This is what is currently at stake. Russia today is not a country. Today's Russia is a terrorist state with nuclear weapons that does not care about human lives, that does not care about our planet. They only care about their power, about the power of the top terrorist Vladimir Putin. They will destroy everything in their path. But it's not only Putin that is a problem. This is a popular belief that we remove Putin and the problem is gone. But sadly, Putin is a product of that society. The society where over 80% of the people, by the way they were treated all this time during Putin's rule, are now brainwashed by this disgusting propaganda to an extent that 80% support what's going on. In Russia, they're telling that Ukrainians blew up this power plant. This is what they say. Ukrainians on their own land decided to blow up and destroy their own country. They're twisting everything. And people affected by this propaganda sadly believe that. They believe that Ukraine is breeding some military mosquitoes that only attack Russians somehow. This is what Russian representatives said in United Nations. This is what the kind of people we are dealing with right now. And this evil must be defeated. This propaganda has to stop. Sadly, we hear it gradually penetrating here in Australia. They start with a lighter version. They start with telling you, look, why don't they just stop this war? Why don't they sit down and reach some kind of an agreement? That makes sense, right? Simple and easy solution. You sit down and talk, normal people would reach some kind of an agreement, right? But Ukraine has tried it 11 times before. And every single time Russia has violated these agreements. You would have heard about Minsk I, Minsk II, of the largest ceasefire agreements that Ukraine signed. Every single one of them has been violated. In 1994, Ukraine gave up all its nuclear weapons, some to Russia, some to United States. Ukraine had the third largest nuclear weapons arsenal in the world. They gave it all away in exchange for guarantees from Russia inclusive that the borders of Ukraine will remain untouched. Russia was supposed to protect the borders of Ukraine so that Ukraine is not invaded. Have they listened? Have they followed this agreement? This is why now United States and United Kingdom and other countries are helping Ukraine fight and defeat Russia. Because if we just give them what they want, then it means that the only way to protect country sovereignty would be nuclear weapons. Then Australia and every other country must have nuclear weapons because that's the only way. And if there is a bigger country somewhere next door that has more nuclear weapons, that has a bigger army, that wants this land, then it means we just have to give it to them, right? This is how it works. If we just follow these principles of the law, of the rule of law, rule of force, if we just follow down this path, instead of international law, we just follow down the path of the rule of force, then every larger nation has the right, like Russia is claiming to have the right, to attack their smaller neighbor and take everything they want, and to threaten with nuclear weapons if you don't give it to them. This is the situation where we find ourselves in. And this is why with terrorists that are beheading prisoners of war on camera, that are smashing the head of their own prisoner of war that was exchanged and returned to Russia with a sledgehammer, that are raping children in front of their parents, forcing the parents to watch. If we let these people have their way, and all of these acts, mind you, are not committed by Vladimir Putin, but by all those 80% of the Russians that support what is going on, that are brainwashed to an extent to think that this is right to do all those things. So if we let this ideology spread, if we let this idea spread, then they will come here. They already gradually start to penetrate here. And this is why it is critical to stop this right now. This is why it is critical for every single one of you to help Ukraine win, to reach out to your politicians and to ask them to help Ukraine win. 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 Help Ukraine win.
Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win. Help Ukraine win.
Yesterday, Russia blew up one of the largest hydroelectric power plants in Ukraine. Experts believe that this is the largest human-made catastrophe since Fukushima. Today's Russia is not only destroying Ukrainians, and 97% of their targets are civilian targets. They're not only wiping off entire cities from the face of the earth, raping children and killing children, they are also killing our planet. This is why everyone should care, because we only have our planet, and they're destroying it. As you watch, on your watch, our planet is being destroyed. People are being destroyed, and Russians are being brought to the level of these even sub-animals that find it okay to rape and kill children, to rape a daughter of someone and force their mom to watch by turning her head and saying watch and opening her eyes. This is what they are committing every single day. This is the kind of atrocities we're talking about. But right now, they are destroying our planet as well. And one of the largest nuclear power plants in Europe, Zaporizhzhia power plant, relied on this dam, on the water in this dam that Russians have blown up to cool down their reactors. If there is no cooling down of the reactors, then they need enormous amounts of water. If water levels drop beyond 12 meters, and it looks like they will, then there will be an explosion in the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. And Chernobyl will look like a child's play by comparison. This is what a terrorist state that is unstopped, that is not declared as such, is going to do and is going to keep doing. This is why we are appealing to all of you who understand what's going on, to reach out to your politicians. Australia did not provide any military aid since October last year. It has been 8 months since Albanese government made 0 new commitments to help Ukraine win. We are asking all of you to reach out to your politicians. They say nice words, but nice words don't do anything. Ukrainians today are fighting for all of you. They are fighting for a right of a small country to peacefully coexist with like a neighbor. A small country not
뚜루루, 뚜루루.